Guys, what is up? It is Kansas Kid, and I want to talk to you about your silver stack. Um, but I want to talk to you about, do you consider it one big stack, or do you have multiple stacks in your silver stack? Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Multiple stacks is what I have. I have multiple stacks um, that are different. So, yeah, everyone's like, oh, you got to diversify with what you do with gold, platinum, whatever, silver. Um, Man, your strict silver stack can be diversified also, and this right here is a good example of a diversified stack. And let me go over it with you, and let me tell you how I'm looking at this stuff. So, multiple stacks within your stack, and I stack like that. You know, whenever I make a purchase or a trade or something like that, when I do this, I have it for a specific reason in mind. Okay, so not all this stuff here is created equal. You know, you guys know all the difference between this. So, first stack that I have in my silver stack, I have cheap, generic weight. You know, whenever people say buy weight, you're buying cheap, generic weight, right? That's where these guys come in, these 10-ounce bars. You know, this is cheap, generic weight. Now, this is the stuff that, you know, I'm taking to the coin shop and I'm trading for gold, or something like that, or trades in the community. This is the stuff. This is the weight. This is the stuff that's going. This is stuff that's going bye bye. Now, you know, I have sold silver, but whenever I've sold it, I've always put it back into something, and it's been gold. That's what I've done. So if I go sell, say if I sell 100 ounces of silver, I'm putting it into gold. So, you know, and this is where this comes in. The cheapest weight you can get, and that is stack and weight. So that is a separate stack within my silver stack, a weight stack. So, you know, not all silver is created equal in the eyes of collectors. Um, you know, so when you're buying weight, buy cheap, you know, buy something that's generic and, you know, stuff you let go of. Now, my ultimate goal is silvers for my retirement. You know, people have a lot of reasons why they're stacking, what they're going to use it for, pass it down. I'm using it for my retirement. Hopefully, when I get there, it's going to pay for a handful of vacations or something cool for me, you know, or do something really cool, whatever it may be. So another aspect of the silver stack is vintage. You know, vintage is a different market, carries different premiums, and you know, a lot of my vintage that I collect and that I buy, you know, some of it holds different premiums, and that's just to kind of see what the market does in, you know, 20 years from now, and see where those premiums are standing at. You know, this stuff is still to sell. Now, there are a few pieces that I'm going to keep that I like to pass down, but maybe there may be, you know, 6, 8 pieces that I like to pass down. But a lot of this vintage stuff that I'm getting, you know, stuff like these star bars, you know, I'm hoping that these things are going to have, you know, a nice premium 20 years down the road, you know, and it's going to be sold just like this cheap stuff. You know, another thing, you know, another aspect of stacking is junk silver. I like buying constitutional. I like picking this stuff up. I like stacking it up. We all love it. And, you know, I buy a lot of this, but I don't look at it the same as, you know, buying something that is graded, something specific. And one thing that I have that I probably will not sell, is my Franklin slab collection, and I'm still adding to it. I'm still upgrading to it, and that is something that I am going to pass it down to my kids. That is the plan. I think when it's all said and done, I'm going to have 2 complete slab collections. Each collection with their own special, pieces in it. And that's what I'm going to be passing on to my kids. And like I said, besides that, maybe a few pieces of silver that are real cool vintage pieces. But other than that, the Franklins, and that's why I look at it different than like the constitutional silver. That's what we'll be passing down. I'll be holding on to silver, in different stacks for different reasons. And different things you can do. Now, I'm not going to take this stuff into a coin shop, right? And be like, hey, I want to sell some silver or, silver to gold, because, we all know you don't take vintage into a coin shop unless it is a specific shop that you go to that deals in vintage silver. So, yeah, what do you guys have? Do you guys have multiple stacks? Do you guys look at it all the same? Whenever you buy something, are you thinking, ooh, I'm buying weight or I'm buying vintage or whatever? When I first started stacking and getting into it, now I think that's what kind of changed my mind. I was, buying silver well under $20 an ounce. It was down into the teens, the upper 17s, $18. That was with premiums. So whenever I see this influx of stuff, as far as spot price goes, stuff like that, that's why I switched to numismatics, and I'm not like die hard in numismatics. The main thing is there's a few other things I collect. The main thing is just are the Franklins. I don't go after crazy Morgans and crazy piece dollars and stuff like that. But then the vintage silver, I like the vintage silver. I think with what you spend and stuff like that, you can find some really cool, good vintage silver out there. I still buy weight. I'll still pick up, a couple 10-ounce bars, handful of 5-ounce bars, mainly 5-ounce bars. What I've been buying lately, of just your cheap generic stuff, just to add weight. I want to consistently add weight, even though spot's up. It may not be as much as I have in the past, but spot being up, it's still a little bit of time. I've been getting real picky about my purchases. Real picky what I'm breaking in. The Swiss of America pieces I'm really liking, and so I'm kind of going after those. That'll probably be one of the things that I pass down, that and my my USVI collection. But other than those 2 things, really, everything else is ultimately there to sell. And I'm real curious to see. So I had the tube of gold out the other day, and this one right here. So I had this out, and I wrote 2355 on it, and I said, in 20 years from now, where's that going to be at? What's that number going to be at? So I'm kind of thinking about that for some vintage pieces also. If silver goes up, maybe vintage pieces are more scarce. Maybe the market is different, and those could be well worth a lot more money. So that vintage stuff like this too. I mean, it's already from a spot price going up. It's already kind of creeping up there. But I really think that, I think that premium it's going to catch up with everything. It's going to catch up spot price and all that stuff, and stuff's going to be getting crazy. As far as premiums on vintage and stuff goes, probably in the near future. So, do you guys have multiple stacks? How do you guys look at yours? That's what I look at mine. How I look at mine, and yeah. So whenever I'm making my purchases, I think about where it's going, to what, try to keep everything pretty balanced, on what side's what. But it's always important to stack weight. That's where you want to be at, and because weight is very important. But hopefully one of these days you know, that's gonna get me on a nice trip somewhere. Guys, I appreciate your time. I'll talk to you soon.